There's not a week that goes by where somebody doesn't ask me when it's the right time to hire a consultant. I like to think if you don't have one, you need one. Someone should have a coach. Someone should be guiding your business, not named you. This is Wysocarski with beachhouseconsulting, and I've got a few tips, reminders of when it might be time to hire a consultant. The first thing is when the expertise of where you want to take your business is not up here. If you're not sure, could you do the research? Yes. Could you figure it out? Of course you could. But there's a time cost of money. Once you do the research, are you doing the right research? And then can you apply that knowledge? Do you have any experience applying that knowledge? Will your research determine all the pitfalls along the way to implementing that strategy? And if the research and the implementation and then the course correction takes 6 or 12 months, well, good God, you've lost more than a season of profitability. The investment of a consultant to speed up that timeline, to flatten that curve, not only can be well worth the investment, but if you're having profits on that in 30 or 60 days versus 3 or 6 months, there's an accumulation of repeat business, which would more than outstrip the cost savings of doing it on your own. Everybody in business probably needs some sort of a consultant, whether it's a full-time coach, a business consultant, or anything else that you might want to label it. But it's a tough go on your own. A lot of people do it, but the first thing is when you need that level of expertise. Now, I've got a list of a few other things, and I'm just going to go click through them right now. The second thing, and I put the glasses on because a consultant can help you identify problems that you can't see. We call them blind spots. And let's suppose that we are so focused on getting right there that we don't realize along the way that there may be an alternate path, or we may be looking so closely at the target we don't realize all the turbulence down here when there's a little smoother path over here. Those are pivots. And if we can pivot in one direction and back through, we can still get to the target. But a straight line, while it seems reasonable to think, is not always the best path because we are not aware of our blind spots, whether it's in front of us or perhaps coming up from behind us. There's always competition. If I asked you what your blind spot is, would you know? It may take a consultant to help you identify what your blind spot is. So that's definitely, that's a huge one. Supplemental staff. A consultant could very well help you find the person that you need to help advance your business in the right direction, in the right way. A consultant typically works with more than one business owner, probably several business owners. They're familiar with best practices for hiring, the right places to find people, investments in hiring systems that led to nowhere, because that happens too. And the cost of a bad hire, we think it's a little bit of money. I would tell you the cost of a bad hire can be 25, 50, even 100 grand. So identifying supplemental staff and leveraging your business just to keep you focused on the most important things. That's absolutely a function of a consultant. Now, how about objectivity? Let's face it, as an entrepreneur, you come up with $1 million idea, daily? And not all of them are that good. Admittedly, entrepreneurs come up with a lot of great ideas. It's separating, it's vetting. Okay, I've got 10 ideas over here, and you probably could do all of them except for the fact you may not have enough time. What is the best strategy to implement today, right now, in a sequence to get you the best possible results? I can assure you starting 5 initiatives at one time is not, unless you have amazing leverage, probably not a way to go. So I would want to have some objectivity. Just because you think it's great, it may not play well in public, and ultimately you need the consumer in most businesses to make it work. Now, teaching and training. Thinking that through. Do you have a training system in place? How do you onboard new people to your organization? If you have never done that before, that's a daunting task. And there's probably a lot more to it than you would realize. And then once you get into it, there's even more. Believe me, once you start going down a rabbit hole, it could take a long time. So having the experience of someone that has been there and done that and then trained on it and consulted on it time after time we talk about the cost of a bad hire. Let's say you have the right amazing hire, but the worst possible training system, and you didn't realize it. That great hire is probably not going to stick around, and the chances of finding 2 amazing hires in a row is slimmer than you think. And if you create a mill of having the right people in the wrong training, you're always going to think they didn't work out. It could be your training system. Go figure that out. The dirty work, there could be reductions in force, reductions in salary, reductions in staff. It could be that somebody comes on like gangbusters, and in the first 6 months or a year, hey, they've got the talent and the trajectory to perhaps outpace someone who's been with your company for quite some time. These are not easy things to travel through, and they're delicate situations only as much as that you need to do what's best for the business. And the way that you deliver that message is going to determine if you're keeping both people, just one of the two, or none of the two. And I've seen this fumbled, to give a sports term over here, where we've had the new person come in and they were probably better at a lot of things than the existing person. So you let one go only to find out that the new person was not committed to your outcome as much as the first person. And maybe they took a role with you only to find out they had other applications in the fire, and 6 months or later they get the call back, and now you've lost someone that's been with you for a few years, and you've lost a new person too. So there's a way to handle and make sure that you're not losing both. And if you can only keep one, sometimes the right one isn't always the one that's most apparent. So we need to take a look at that. And of course, the worst possible case is you completely mess it up and they both leave. Not something that you want to do. So if you're not experienced in reducing force or changing of role or job description or expectations, or actually the right way to let somebody go, that could be a reason for a consultant. Now, building or creating another business is definitely something else. And let's say that you are amazing and you've got a restaurant and then you have a pizza shop and a diner. It doesn't mean you'll be successful with an ice cream shop. It sounds like I went down that path. Yeah, the ice cream shop was a disaster. And even though it was in a restaurant business, that type of thing, there was pieces of that I wasn't clearly identified were that much different. And that turned out to be a loser of a business and a complete waste of my time. The ice cream business is fine. I just shouldn't have been an owner because I was not prepared to run it. I didn't have enough leverage in that business, and there wasn't a consultant out there to say, hey, what you're doing is just dumb. You're going to lose money, and you're better off not even starting it. So a consultant would have saved me a lot, and I mean a lot of wasted time. And money. So I would think about that too. And the last thing is as an influencer. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you have an amazing consultant and they consult with top business leaders, think a little bigger. It can open a lot, not a few, a lot of doors for you as an influencer. And I'm in a number of business groups. One of them is a CEO exchange. And it does open doors because we're in a situation where we're being coached and mentored within a group setting. We have a leader and we are all committed, to this procedure every month. And it's opened a lot of doors. I've been able to see within other businesses what their strategies are and how they approach problem solving and hiring, and the same things in our business. Even though our businesses are completely different, there are some core things that happen in every business that make sense. And it opens doors because they know other people that are in other industries that are looking perhaps to change industries, for looking for a new opportunity. There's people that want to get into sales. There's people who want to get out of sales. And at some point you say, look, I got an amazing person over here. And we get along fine. It's just no longer a good fit. And here's why. They've had a change in circumstance. They no longer want to be out, days, nights, weekends, the whole 7 days a week thing. There's a change in circumstance. They're given their family situation. They could be amazing at a lot of things. Your company might be a better fit. So as an influencer, that can absolutely open up doors and opportunity for you. So, that's 7 or 8 things that would really give you a chance to think about how a consultant would help you out. End of the day, accountability, personal responsibility, leadership, growth, keeping the hustle on, staying committed, and I can keep going. There's a lot of reasons to hire a consultant, but if you're looking as an expense, I would like to just have you change that thinking. It's an investment, and it's an investment in you. If you've got questions about the next step, message me. I'd love to help you out with that. This is Ron Wysocarski for Beach House Consulting.